guys, welcome back to Winding Down with Books with your girl Kay. Happy New Year, new beginnings, new book reviews. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope your new year has started off well. And let's jump right into it. So as you can see by the title, we are reviewing Perish by Latoya Watkins. So shout out to Jerusha H. She recommended this book. Again, shout out to you, Jerusha H, for recommending this book. So before I even get into the review, I'm just going to say, this book is very triggering. It took me a while to read this book. I had to take breaks because it was very heavy. It's a heavy read. It could be traumatic for some. It had a lot of themes in it, man. We had domestic violence, we had incest, molestation, physical abuse, verbal abuse. This book, I've never read a book where a family has so many secrets. It's like the secrets just kept going like a waterfall, just kept coming and coming. I'm like, dang, like where does it end? So all in all, I did enjoy this read. It was a heavy read. I'm not going to rate this book. I don't think this is a book that can be rated because of how triggering it is, in my opinion. But if you did read this book, drop it in the comments. Let me know what you thought about the book. Let me know if you rated it or not. What you think about the writing style. I enjoy the writing style. Like I said, it could be a slow burn in the beginning. Honestly speaking, throughout the book, it is a slow burn, but it's very heavy. It's a heavy read. Like, it's a lot to unpack. I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot to unpack. This video may be 2 videos. It's so long. I'm gonna try to get through it, but let's just jump right into it. So I'm about to go through the family tree. Hold on, you know I got my notes. Let me flip. All right, so I'm gonna go through the family tree so you know who's who, right? So we have the matriarch of the family. Her name is Helen Jean, right? Helen Jean had 3 siblings. So we have Albert, we have Dennis, we have Herbert, right? Then Helen had 4 children. She had 1 boy named Wayne. She had 3 girls, Julie B, Ruby Nell, and Marie. Julie B had 2 children, which was Alex and January, and then Ruby Nell had 1 child, which is Lydia, right? You don't really need to know this, but January has 2 kids. Their name is Javon and Jazera, right? So that's the family tree because you're gonna be hearing the names throughout the video. All right, so let's jump right into it. So the book opens up with Helen Jean trying to give herself an abortion by taking a contraption, drinking it, and she was trying to have everything flush through her body in an outhouse, right? So this wasn't Helen Jean's first time aborting children, right? In the outhouse now, it was like she was getting so in the outhouse, she was experiencing something where it was like God is talking to her, basically God saying to her, if you go through with this abortion, you're going to die right here in this in this dirty outhouse, or you can go through with the pregnancy and raise the child. Helen decided that she is not going to continue with the abortion because she didn't want to die. So she made a promise right there at the outhouse that she was going to keep whatever children that she had moving forward, and she would raise them. So basically it was like she would have the baby or she would perish, right? So that was that. So she made a promise right then and there. So that's the past. So the book goes back and forth from the past to the present. So just so you have an idea, right? So we meet Lydia. So again, Lydia is a child of Ruby Nell. So Lydia's backstory. Lydia is currently, married. She's married, but she's separated from her husband because Lydia unfortunately cannot carry children to full term. So that has taken a strain on her marriage. And because it has taken a strain on her marriage, she's having problems with her husband. Now, don't get me wrong. Her husband, Walter, is very supportive. Like, he's been there for her throughout all the miscarriages, and he wants to keep trying, and he loves her, but she can't get past the fact that she can't make him happy because he really wants a child. And Lydia was told that she would never be able to carry a baby to full term. So she never told Walter that. So whenever she loses a child, she gets her hopes up, and unfortunately she never carries a child. She has a miscarriage, right? So Lydia is struggling with that. She's not open with her husband. She's pushing him away. There's no communication. She's giving up, right? Also, Lydia's mother is currently in a home for those who are struggling with mental illness. Mind you, this book is way back in time. So her mother, Ruby Nell, they used to live a good life, right? They from Texas. It's called a small town in Texas called Jerusalem, right? And growing up, she had a good life for the most. Well, with her mother and her father, she had like a semi-normal kind of life, a little bit, where she was happy in her little family bubble. Until her father went to prison. He was accused of raping a little girl, 14-year-old Laverne, right? And the mother worshipped the father so much, right? So when the father went away for murder, hear me say rape, the mother, because she was so wrapped up with the father, she dedicated her life to the father, she lost her mind. Like, she wasn't the same after that. And the reason why the mother wasn't the same after that, because she knew her man was innocent. He was being falsely accused. That's what the mother said, right? So after that, and I ain't gonna spoil that part. So after that, the mother, her mental health fell through, and Lydia was left out there on her own. No daddy, no mom physically present. Like, the mom couldn't really hold down a steady job. She couldn't take care of Lydia because she couldn't take care of herself, right? That's what happens, honestly, when you dedicate your life to someone else. When that person is physically not there in your presence, you don't know how to live. That's why I always say, I said it several times in the video, I will never, ever in this life, as I speak, dedicate my life to another person. I'm sorry. I will love you, I will support you, but I will never worship you. I'm sorry. It's not gonna happen. Can never do that. So that's Lydia, right? So, and Lydia's feeling all alone. Then we meet January. So January is a child of Julie B. I'm just going to say, I do not like Julie B's character. I'm just going to say it right there. January, I didn't like her character at all. Well, I'm not going to say I didn't like her character in the beginning. Towards the end, I liked her character, right? So January has 2 children. She's co-parenting with her ex-boyfriend. She's church going. She deems herself holy and sanctified. She is a woman of God. She wants better for her children. So January doesn't talk to her brother. January and her mother has a weird relationship. January is trying to do the best. She has dreams of moving to Dallas for a better life, but she's contemplating. She wants to go to school. Like, she wants new beginnings, but she's afraid of change. And she's basically dependent on the money that Helen Jean has hidden to help her move. I'll mention this, right? Helen Jean is a character that I'm disgusted by her character. I'm sorry. I have no sympathy, no compassion, I'm lying. I have a little bit of compassion. No remorse for her character. I didn't like her character. I'm sorry. She did too much for me to like her character, right? I should mention Helen Jean is on her deathbed. She was diagnosed with dementia. Dementia progressed along the way, and now she's on her deathbed, right? I should mention that, right? God don't like ugly. Anyway, so back to January. So, that's that. January, since Helen was really, really sick, January spent the year, going back and forth from her house to her grandmother's house, and, trying to take care of her. So now she feels like, she's waiting to really get to her grandmother, or really get the chance to get the money, right? Then we meet Julie B. Again, Julie B is the mother of January and Alex, right? So Julie B is a person who never left home. She could never hold a steady job. She could never do much on her own. She also loved the man more than herself. His name was Dale. And she just had nothing going for herself. Like, she she's a lost woman. You know, she's stuck between her beliefs and morality. She's a woman who hides so much. She's a woman who loves her children but never received love, the love that she produces back. And you know, because of that, she just goes with the flow sometimes. And I'm just like, you know, with Julie B's character, I honestly speaking, I don't think I liked her character. Like, because you'll see what I mean. But as I'm reflecting on her character, it's just like, you know, you could have made it happen, right? I'm just saying, that's how I feel about her character. If you, like I said, if you read it, let me know what you think about Julie B's character, right? So she has nothing to show for herself but 2 children. But I will say, everything that Julie B did, she had the right idea but the wrong delivery. She wanted to do things for herself, but ultimately it was like, it's not gonna work, right? All right. And then we meet Alex. So Alex, he's a police officer. You know, for the most part, he's struggling with himself and who he is. He's struggling with past trauma, morality, all of that, right? So Alex, I want to wait to this part. So Alex struggles with his urges to engage in sexual activity with younger females, right? He's having trouble sleeping, and he's just going through those changes. Now, you'll see about Alex, right? I should mention that Alex was and is still Helen Jean's favorite, right? So let's go back to the past. This story is a story about generational curses, generational cycle, generational trauma. It just keeps going and going and going and going, and it's disgusting. All right. So now we heading back to the past. I don't know how much time is on this video so far. Let's see. All right. So Helen grew up in a abusive home, right? Her mother died when she was young, and her father treated her and her siblings like trash. So the father molested Helen Jean. The father molested Bacon, which was Helen's favorite brother. They had another brother named Herbert who was physically and intellectually disabled, and you know, I don't know if he was molested, but he wasn't treated right. He was neglected, right? Very malnourished. So all of that played a role. So she didn't grow up in a good household. It all started with her father, right? So she was molested, raped, all of that by her father, in which her father got her pregnant with her first child, Wayne. That's the child that she was trying to abort in the outhouse when she made the promise. So from that, you know, one, that's your father, the man that's supposed to protect you, doing that to you. Then he had the nerve to get you pregnant. Now you're pregnant, and you have to carry this baby. You have to look at this child every day. You have to raise this child. How are you supposed to love this child? Because this child came from hate. This child came from disgust. I'm sorry, that's what it is. That I don't think that's no blessing. The way the child's conceived, it can't be no blessing. I'm sorry. That's my opinion, right? So because of that, you know, it's not really because of that. Helen always lacked a maternal instinct, right? She's not a lovey-dovey. She's not a affectionate person. Like, she's just strong, stern person, whatever. She thinks she's doing the best, but she's just doing wrong, right? So she never spoke on her being raped by her father. She ended up marrying a dude named Jesse B, and Jesse B low-key kind of knew what was going on, but they raised Wayne together, right? After that, Helen had a couple more kids, which I mentioned, Ruby Nell, Julie B, and Marie, right? So she was not a good wife, right? She was not a good partner. She did the bare minimum to take care of the kids. Jesse was the one who showed the kids love and affection. He supported them. You know, she cooked and cleaned, stuff like that. But as far as like she was a deadbeat mom, I'm just going to put it out right there, right? That's the past. So let's move forward to the present. So now we back to Lydia. Lydia marriage is falling apart, so Lydia gets a call from her aunt Julie B. So Julie B's like, yo, Helen is in the hospital, she's dying, she's in her final days, you need to come see her. So Lydia's debating, at this point, Walter has moved out of the home, he's living somewhere else. She's just like, what do I have to lose by going there? And she hasn't been home in years, so she's hesitant to really see her family, but she's gonna go, right? So Lydia and January, they used to be close, right? They used to be like this. They spent all the summers together. They cousins, right? So they gonna hold each other down. So one day, Julie B, I should mention, January and Alex do not speak, right? They're brother and sister. They did not speak because Alex raped January, right? So I don't want to spoil it. We're gonna put the Alex raped January, and from then, January don't want nothing to do with her brother. She's scared of him. Both of them were scared of him, but it was just like, January never said anything to her mother. Lydia never said anything, so it's just like whatever. So Alex, at one point, I'm gonna give you the backstory, but Alex got kicked out of the house, right? Julie B had drove January and Lydia in the car to go see Alex because he got kicked out of the house by Helen. So when they pull up to the spot where Alex is, January's like, I'm not getting out the car. So Julie B looks at Lydia like, oh, you getting up, baby? So Lydia looks at January. January's trying to give Lydia the sound like, they young girls at that too. They young. So trying to tell, this is the past. I forgot to mention that part. Trying to tell January, Lydia January's trying to tell Lydia like, yo, don't go, da-da-da. So Lydia ends up telling Julie B like, hey, tell Alex I said hi. So based off Lydia's behavior and her telling Julie B to tell Alex hi, January felt that she was betrayed. She felt betrayed by Lydia because it's like, why would you tell Julie B, my mom, to tell Alex you said hi? So January felt like Lydia chose Alex in that moment. So because of that act, January stopped messing with Lydia. Like January was like, I ain't talking to you no more. Every summer was awkward. So that's how they end up falling out. Again, they was kids, so they didn't really know how to communicate and process their emotions and really use tools to get an idea of how they feeling. And Lydia didn't really know what was going on. Lydia didn't know why January stopped talking to her. It would just change one day, right? January became an asshole. I get where she's coming from, but I also feel like you guys were young girls and Lydia didn't know the difference, right? So from that situation, that situation and more, after like she had her kids, January was like, I'm gonna give my life to God. I'm not gonna engage in any fornication. I'm not gonna have a man living under my roof. Like that's how she lives her life, right? So now we back to the past. So Helen Jean now. Sorry guys, let me just see how long this video is so far. Damn, I can't even tell. All right, so we back to the past. So Helen Jean is living in the house with Jesse B, and there's Wayne and the other two kids, right? Ruby Nell. At this point, it's Ruby Nell and Julie B. So and then so they living in a house next door to them. Helen's father lived next door. So not only did he abuse his kids growing up, right? And Helen was aware that Bacon was raped by their father, right? And it was a shit. They never spoke about it, but everybody, like, between them, they know what was going on with the kids. The father took turns raping all his kids. Disgusting, right? But he had the nerve to move next door to Helen. So that's like every day she had to see him, and it's traumatic. Like, it's traumatic. So he would come out, sit in the yard, whoop-de-woo. So she gotta pass him to see him. So it's like, you reliving that trauma every day. So it's like, how can you function, right? And I feel like the father did that on purpose. So moving forward, the father was suffering from dementia as well, right? So it got to a point, let me fast forward, where, you know, her brother Bacon was not allowed in the house at all, right? So because he was just a loud drunk, and Jesse didn't allow that. Jesse didn't mess with him. But it got to a point where stuff had ended up going bad. The father ended up dying. The father had ended up dying, her father. So she felt relief when the father died, right? And then it just so happened that Jesse B got sick shortly after, and he died. Before Jesse B died, he told Helen, like, you know, you all these kids got. You got to be there for them. You got to try to love them, this, that, and the third. And, you know, Helen supposedly tried, right? When Jesse B died, Bacon, drunk self, moved in, talking about, I'm taking control of the house. I'm the head of the house. Like, I got you and be here, sis, with you. You know how dudes be doing, right? And back in the day, these dudes used to think that they just whatever. Woman's supposed to just do whatever, right? Helen was tired of men taking from her, men controlling her, which I support 100%. Sis, stand up for yourself. But it's how you do it that matters, right? Anyways, boom. So Bacon moves into the house, right? Again, I tell you, Helen treated Wayne like crap, right? But honestly speaking, I can't blame her for how she treated Wayne. Wayne is a child. He's an innocent child. He doesn't know how he was conceived. He doesn't know anything. He kept, as a child, he kept wanting the love for his mother. So he would do stuff, right? Jesse B loved him, but he would try to fight for his mother affection and stuff like that. But she was not giving in, because every time she looked at Wayne, she seen her father, and she knew that because of her father, Wayne would turn out just like her father. Technically speaking, she didn't know that. She assumed that because he came, that the way he was conceived, she assumed that he would be just like the father. He looked like the father, right? So she treated him really bad. And at the end of the day, no child should be treated like that. But I can understand, and again, this is my opinion, it's hard to love a child who was conceived in that manner, because your grandfather is your father. Like come on. What are we doing? So I understand Helen. Like, I honestly speaking, I understand where she come from that, right? So anyways, Bacon moved into the home. Again, Bacon was raped by his father. Once Bacon moved into the home, Bacon started raping. I think I fast forward too far, whatever. Bacon started raping Wayne. At one point, you know, Helen wasn't aware that Wayne was getting raped, right? So we're gonna pause right there. So Helen had hid money around town. I should mention Helen was a what's the word I'm looking for? Precarious woman, right? She got it by any means. She got it from men. She got it from working. Most of the time, she used men for her money, and all the money that she collected. She at one point she did like a life insurance with people in the neighborhood. She was collecting like 10%. So she was getting money and she was hiding it, right? When the dementia was onset, she didn't remember where the money was hidden. Julie B lived with her, so Julie B started cleaning up, and she found all of the money. Helen had mad bands. So Julie B found the money and didn't tell nobody. I'm gonna mention that, right? Anyway, we go into Lydia. Lydia starts reflecting on her grandmother being the present, and she realized like her grandmother wasn't affectionate, she wasn't caring, all she did was yell and beat them. She was neglectful, like she wasn't what we know a grandmother or grandfather to be in some instances. It's not always the case. We have grandparents that's like that now, right? And all Helen did was used to put the kids out the house, right? So now, I said that, like I said, Alex was her favorite. All right, so we going in the past. Helen, at one point, Helen had looked at Wayne and realized that Bacon was raping him, right? So Helen felt really bad because she was like, you know, like, how could this happen? How could I let this happen? I will say, like, Helen was a woman who experienced emotion, but she didn't show it, right? So she felt really bad. So it was one point where she had I think I'm fast forwarding too far, right? So I'm just gonna say, Helen found out that Bacon was raping Wayne, but before that, she found out that Wayne, the kids is a little older now, right? And this is Ruby Nell and Julie B talking in the house one day, right? They're about teenagers. Helen is in the home. She overhears them talking, and basically Ruby Nell was like, Wayne friends raped me, and Wayne just stood there watching, right? At this point, Julie B has Alex. This is her first child. So Helen overhears that, and she feels guilty because she's like, how could I allow this to happen? How did I miss this? Whatever. Wayne didn't rape his sisters, right? But he allowed his friend to rape Ruby now. So Helen felt a type of way, but again, she didn't let them know that she overheard them, mind you. So we got one secret. Helen was raped, the brother was raped, right? Then we got another secret where Wayne watched his friend rape his sister, right? So all these secrets in the house. We got Julie B who found the money. It's mad secrets, like generational secrets, right? So boom. Then we got the secret where Lydia's reflecting back, and she never told January and she never told anyone that she watched Alex rape January. She came in one day from outside. Alex was supposed to be using the bathroom. Alex was a terror, a mother-loving terror as a teenager. He got away with murder. He was supposed to be in the bathroom taking a shower. Lydia walks in. She goes to the back room to look for January. She sees January's legs dangling over the bed and Alex's body on top of her. So she witnessed the rape, but never told anyone. She was scared of Alex, I understand, but she never told January that she knew. January doesn't know that Lydia knows that she saw the whole thing, right? So another secret. Anyways, so I had wrote down in the book, I dislike January's character because she in the beginning of the book, she just seems so rude. She just seems so selfish. My bad, guys. My camera died, so I'm going to split this video up in two. See you next video.